Somebody just asked me what my philosophy is on AI versus human-made content. And this is definitely something that I think a lot about. What's interesting is like right now, I'm using AI to help create content. So I'm using it, I think, as a tool to help take the chaos and the unorganization of my brains and my thoughts and to put it in a more tightly compacted, easier to understand, a lot less droning on and on about things or repeating things. I definitely lean on it to clean up some of that stuff. But what's been interesting over the last few weeks as I've been working on my newsletter, I've been showing up and creating content on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and just sharing like real stuff going on in life and work and being real vulnerable and sharing some things that are like really personal, but things that I share in small groups, like in person, or if I'm on a Zoom call with my mastermind group. Like in those places, I'm definitely sharing much more than I have ever felt comfortable sharing in just a post online. And I think part of that for me is because there's no opportunity for back and forth. There's no opportunity for conversation. There's no opportunity to see somebody's reaction or hear their response to something I say, or to just feel like the different energy that's created when something is said or when something happens. I trace a lot of my hesitation to share, why I've just pumped the brakes on showing up online back years ago when I started doing video. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to not for myself but for other people, and that's what I have done for the last 2 decades, where I've really just told people your story is super important, it's super valuable, and we need to capture it. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to help pull it out of you. So I have believed that for other people. I think at some point I just got weary of it for myself. Early on, nobody had really good video cameras. Nobody had good sound equipment. And as the internet sort of matured and the videos that you watched weren't this big anymore, they would fill the screen and they looked good, or they could look good, they could sound good. And as a documentary storyteller, as a filmmaker, it was really exciting to be able to tell these stories and then to create content and talk about the process and share that stuff. We would blog. I mean, I would write these blogs and I would share video snippets, and people were blown away, and it was super fun, and the behind the scenes content. But we were part of a very small, very select group of people that could create this content and show up on social with like pretty stuff and interesting stuff. And then the invention of the iPhone. Steve Jobs curses you. As much as I love my phone, the phone, and then adding the capability for photos, and then eventually video, and then eventually 4K video, and then eventually cinematic quality, 24 frames per second, just like amazing stuff like straight out of this thing, which is just like mind blowing. The problem that I experienced for myself was that everybody started creating content and everybody started sharing online. And so for me, it just became a lot less special, and I just was like not excited or interested in it anymore. And I think I'm also tying this into what happened with Instagram when they started creating filters and allowing us all access to make our photos look better than real life. And then eventually filters that made our skin look a lot softer and us not really look like us anymore, but the perfect version of ourselves, the younger version of ourselves. As I kept digging into storytelling and trying to help people be vulnerable and authentic, and then eventually we transitioned from filming these beautiful weddings, these powerful stories, and then we start working with businesses and telling their stories. I mean, so many of the CEOs that I would work with and that I would sit across from and interview and tell me like, why did you get into this work? Why did you start this business? Why do you care about it? What's the transformation that you get so excited to see in your clients and your employees and the people that you work with? And they would give me the canned answer that they would give to any reporter or stock stockholder, shareholder, whoever those people are. And then, like, oh, well, we strive for integrity and we want to serve, the people that care about our mission and blah, blah, blah. And then my follow-up question would be something like, okay, but why? Like, why do you care about that? Like, at what point, like, what was the moment in time? Take me to that moment where the light bulb went off for you and you realized that this was your new mission, that this was your calling, that this was something that you had to do. And if you didn't do it, you would be going against everything inside of you. Tell me about that moment. Bring me there. And then the story would get real. It would be deep and it would be more authentic and it wouldn't just sound canned. And what I have seen over the course of, a decade plus is that the content that we've created, we've done everything that we can to make it as beautiful and clean and crisp and just perfect. The technology keeps improving, from SD to HD to 4K to 8K to, whatever K. But with great power comes great responsibility, and all of that megapixels and all of the power inside of our phones, what we've done is we've created the best version of ourselves and we put forth the best version of ourselves online. And we do that in person too, right? I would say that probably most all of us are at fault. And the people that aren't, those are the kind of people that I'm like, man, that is amazing. I wish I could show up more like that, where it's just like, somebody that wears a crazy hat or unbelievable outfit in public, and you're like, man, I wish I had the guts to do that. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't want those guts. But when that happens, it's like there's this sense of like this person doesn't care what other people think. And for me, like, that's sort of the rub when I think about where we're at with AI and creating content, and we're able to take something that's kind of crappy and make it seemingly better. What I'm experiencing, as I've said, hey, you know what, I'm going to start showing up, and it's not going to be as polished as I've strived for a long time. It's just not going to be. I'm going to, because I'm not creating as much and I'm not sharing as much, because I'm spending too much time and energy thinking about, like, there's probably going to be some people that would say, they would probably say this if I posted that, and I don't want them to say that, or I don't want to put people in a position where, they could potentially be mean to me, or say something that they would regret later, or make me have to, rethink, should I even done that, even though that's not a bad thing for me to think. But as I've been sharing real, raw, vulnerable stories that I share in public spaces, as I've been doing that online, and pushing back on this idea of done is better than perfect, I have gotten some amazing responses in my email and in my DMs and comments on the videos and the emails that I'm sharing, of people saying, like, please keep showing up like this, because it's making me want to lean in to being open and honest and more vulnerable. I think I'm realizing that I'm tired of the perfect posts, and other people are too. And what we're resonating with is, like, just humanity. I mean, the AI stuff, my guess is it's just going to get more and more and more, and we're going to have robots, and they're going to be able to do so many of the things that we normally would be interfacing with another human being, but our souls are going to be starved for community. Our souls are going to be starved for connection. And just like a drug would numb your feelings, I think AI is going to numb this feeling or this desire or this need of connection for a little while, or maybe for a long while. But some of us are going to go through long periods of life not really living a full life, not experiencing the fullness of what real community can bring. And right now, if I say, hey, ChatGPT, like, here's my latest newsletter, do you see any red flags? What do you think? The first comment is just like, or first response is like, man, this is great, Ryan. This is I'm so tired of that. And it's just like, you're just not a dumb robot, but you're just a machine. And why might that feel like a little bit good, when I know the ways that I've grown as a person, as a dad, as a husband, as I was going to say a father, but that's like, I already said dad. So the times that I've grown the most probably include some uncomfortable conversations, some awkward interactions where I said something I didn't mean, or maybe I did mean it only to realize later that I should never have said that. Like I shouldn't talk like, I shouldn't think like that. How do I change my behavior? How do I change my mindset? And I think we'd be ridiculous to not believe that the AI stuff can become a therapist for us. Our robots will be able to do that, but it's not going to satisfy the deep longing that's inside of us. I remember I wrote a paper, my senior paper, senior thesis, maybe it was called, in 2002. That's when I graduated college. It was for my communications class major, and it was about the importance of face-to-face communication. I don't remember when AOL Instant Messenger came out, but probably like 96, 95, 96, 97, I don't know, something like that. But I remember when I graduated from school and working at the school, that's what we used to message with each other. And then I took a trip to Europe, and I remember people on the train were texting each other. This was in 2001, and everybody had their heads down. I'm like, this was my first experience with text messaging. We had text messaging on our phone, but it was like TTYL. It's like where you had to, each number on the phone had like 3 or 4 letters to it, and you had to push the same button like 3 times to get the letter that you wanted, and then click this one. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's fascinating how far technology has come. So, I'm seeing people like texting and not talking to each other. And then we came back to the States, and that's when, all of the carriers here, the phones started changing and people started texting here in the States. And I just really felt like, oh my gosh, like this is where we're headed. And before I started my business, before I started telling stories, before I started doing video, before I'm thinking, in these terms of like, how important your story is, I was thinking about how important connection is, like real person connection. And I still hold on to that. So I think that there's just gonna continue to be this movement toward more and more AI and robots and automation and all of these things. But what it's gonna leave is opportunity for connection with people that we probably would never connect with otherwise. A lot of fast food stuff. I mean, you can DoorDash your food now and not even have to see a person or talk to a person. Part of that is like, wow, the efficiency, I love that. But and then, to not have to like be in clothes and have, not that I order food naked, but to just not think that you have to be done up at all, and somebody could deliver food to your door, wait till they leave, hide behind the door, grab the bag, shut the door. But I have so many and have had so many beautiful interactions with cashiers over the years of just like trying to be kind and nice and just interactions with people that those aren't going to happen at the frequency that they happen. And so part of that makes my heart hurt and makes me sad. That is the part. I don't know if there is another part. I like the convenience of those things, but realizing how they're going to impact us is like, ooh, wow. So for me, it just brings up the importance of staying connected with people. Even during COVID and 1.5 years following or whatever, not going to a physical church and being with people, watching a service online and feeling like, okay, like cool, I got my fix of a nice message and some songs. But for that to become kind of normal, and it's like, man, the times that I have gone back into a building with other people, it's like this feels so much better. It's more work to get there, right? It's easier just to plop down on the couch and hit a couple buttons and like, again, in your underwear, like doing however you do. But the importance and the beauty of being in person and being in relationship, my hope is that we're going to see and experience kind of a deficit in relational interactions and stuff, in-person stuff, and that there will be a resurgence. I am not claiming to be a person who can see into the future, but I think this is my hope. That not that it gets so bad, but I think it will get so bad where we are so disconnected that people will remember what it was like when we did these things with people. So for me to double down on relationship, to strive to create opportunities to connect with others, to be in person. That's my heartbeat. And then fast forward to or as I look at how this is impacting how I'm showing up and the content that I'm creating, it's no wonder that people are resonating with, like, oh, yeah, this doesn't feel like an AI newsletter, or this doesn't feel like a faceless YouTube video, or is that really Ryan, or is he really there, or is this his AI avatar? I mean, as AI avatars continue to like flood our feeds, that's just gonna be, I think it's just gonna create more of a desire for real stuff, analog stuff, like tape, the old school stuff that we know, like, this is real. This isn't like somebody typing into a prompt to get their avatar to say something that they couldn't say in real life, IRL. So anyway, I don't know if any of this resonates, but this is how I'm thinking about AI and human connection and how it has impacted my business, how it's impacted how I've shown up, all related to the iPhone and Instagram, 4K video, and everybody, it's not special anymore. And what I'm realizing is, like, it's never not been special. My story has never not been, it's always been unique, and it's always been something that could benefit others, but I really struggled for a long time to show, because I felt like I was adding to the noise. I felt like it wasn't unique anymore. I felt like I was trying to position, and then other people started doing it and doing it better than me, and they weren't filmmakers, and then I was like, oh gosh, like, I am a total imposter. Like what business do I have even trying to show up when these people are creating content, getting millions of views, and they don't even call themselves a filmmaker. They're just a content creator. Like, what the heck? I should quit while I'm ahead. But no longer. I think the way that I'm feeling about all of that is changing, and for me, I'm excited. I'm excited about what the future holds, and I'm excited and glad that you're here, that you made it this far in this video. So thanks for watching. If this was helpful, obviously you can subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe to the newsletter, you can find more videos like this here wherever you're watching this, but also if you just go to ryancoral.com, you can make sure to never miss an episode or a newsletter and stay up to speed on all the things I'm doing, including launching a new mastermind group. And if you want to know about that, it's a very small, intimate group of about 12 people. We do business and life together. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to know more about that, then go to ryancoral.com, and I think I'll leave a link in the comments or someplace where you can access that. So that's it. I guess that's my newsletter this time around. I've been writing them first, but I started articulating this, and I was like, I should probably just capture this from my heart. So hopefully I didn't ramble too long, but 'tis what it is. Okay, see you next time. See you in the next time. See you later. Okay, bye for now.